Mario and innovation are practically synonymous at this point. He's got a 3D game that revolutionized 3D platformers as we know it, which is followed up by Sunshine, a game that takes the movement of Mario 64 and cranks it up to 11 with FLUDD. Followed up by a game that puts Mario in an entirely new environment, giving Gravity the middle finger with some of the most beautiful, atmospheric music you'll ever hear in your life. Only to be trampled by Mario Odyssey, a game that has no boundaries to creativity and expands Mario's movement with just one hat trick. There are more than 50 transformations in this game. A noticeable exception is turning into, a fucking T-Rex. And then you've got the 2D Mario Bros. Games. These games aren't bad by any means, but compared to the other 3D Mario games, they are hopelessly outmatched. You're less versatile in these games, the creativity in Mario Bros. Isn't nearly as crazy or interesting as the 3D games. Hell, I bet most of you forgot that Mario Bros. 2 even exists. And I'm saying all this just to put into perspective how much of a breath of fresh air Mario Wonder is. Pretty much everything is more inspired now, mainly with the power-ups and worlds. You'd start with the grassy world in the other Mario Bros. Games and likely move on to a desert, water, maybe a snowy world. And that is similar in this game, but the difference is that this is the snowy world. And that creativity drips over to the enemies too. You've got these purple fat asses that just bump you all over the place that can not only be used as a weapon against other enemies, but also as a launch pad for yourself. Bluebirds shoot their beak out, giving you a platform to stand on. The Maw-Maws are, well, they're just fucking vicious. They just keep hitting yourself. Like the stupid moron you are. It makes levels feel like they have much more depth since the enemies can actually aid you if you play it right instead of just being, enemies. There's also 3 new power-ups this time, which isn't much, but they make up for that in quality. Drill power-up is a great example. It not only allows you to go underground, becoming invincible to literally everything, but it also has a little drill on the top of Mario's head, which can kill enemies above you. The drill can also be used on ceilings and these breakable rocks, and can also drill through certain walls if there's a tiny gap between them, allowing you to find secrets. That's just one power-up. You got the badge system too, which ranges from giving you a double jump, allowing you to have a massive crouching high jump, and letting you grapple to walls. Yes, they put a grapple hook in Mario, and it's badass. And the Wonder Flower is the icing on the cake, since this thing basically gives the devs free reign to do whatever the fuck they want. You might transform into a balloon or a cake, maybe you'll become a bowling ball and mow through everything in your path. Now, not every one of these Wonder Flowers is awesome. The quiz one mainly comes to mind, where you just answer dumbass questions like, what difficulty is this level? But overall, this thing is a great new addition that gives the game way more flair than your average Mario Bros. Game. And while I'm talking about flair, let me just gush about the new art style and animations. Mario Wonder didn't really have a deadline at all, which meant the devs could take as much time as they wanted to make sure the game was as good as possible, and it really shows with the new art style. The levels aren't these bland nothing burgers that get recycled constantly. Each level stands out a lot more now, not only because of the new design, but also because of the Wonder Flowers and the animations and the enemies. Take the pipes from the old games. You go in the pipe and then come out as this perfectly still JPEG slowly descending from the pipe. It looks fucking weird. Swap to the pipes in Mario Wonder, where if you go through with normal Mario, he'll lose his hat, grab it, and then come out the other side looking both ways. If you're coming down from the pipe, he'll cling on to it before letting go, and if you're the elephant, he'll have to wiggle his way into the pipe before wiggling out. It's such a small, extremely unimportant thing, but adds so much to the game in the long run, since this isn't the only thing that's different about the animations. The running animation looks smoother, the power-up transformations are much more dynamic. Mario's hat will be getting blown back when using these conveyor things. It looks fucking great, but I will say this game's face isn't completely pimpleless. I'd say the biggest problem is just how goddamn easy it is. Now, Mario games aren't supposed to be Dark Souls difficulty, but usually there's something to supplement that easy difficulty. Mario Odyssey is a great example. You can carry up to 9,999 coins in that game, and all of those coins go towards skins. They're called costumes, Logan! Logan, the costume! Moons, accessories, basically whatever is in the store. There's no lives, so you can focus on collecting skins with those coins. There's also 100 purple coins per kingdom, meaning there is always some incentive to get those coins since they can give you purple coin exclusive stuff. Now with Mario Wonder, I had the limit of 999 purple coins by World fucking 3. I can buy 1-ups and a standee. They don't even cost that much. They're actually very cheap. I maxed out my lives, which, by the way, 20 purple coins is nothing for 5 lives. Now that I had this extreme excess of lives, there wasn't really a reason to collect coins, and without that feeling that collecting purple coins is worth it, I just didn't feel as good playing the game, since collecting coins is a huge part of Mario. It makes it even worse when you go to the hard levels, and they immediately are way less daunting since, I mean, you have 99 lives in your inventory. Then there's the the boss fights. This mecha thing is a fucking joke and is repeated constantly. Then there's Bowser Jr. Oh no. If only I could just avoid him at all fucking times. He's not much better. Again, other Mario games don't have the most crazy town boss fights, but they usually have something cool going for them. Mario 64 lets you manhandle Bowser. Mario Galaxy just puts you in the most epic duel of all time, and Mario Wonder just kind of doesn't do any of that. Last problem. The fucking flowers.
I believe in you!
Shut the fuck up.
Blinky, blinky! So many of them! Make sure you don't miss it.
I hate them. They have the most generic, uninspired, boring-ass dialogue. It's like they have 2 settings. Setting 1, the flower tells you how much it believes in you and just how well you're doing. Setting 2, it screams like a banshee and is flabbergasted by whatever is happening around it. Why aren't they more entertaining like a Call of Duty player where you're at the end of the level and it just goes, "No shot, bro, makes this dude. Don't even try." Believe me, I know there's an option to silence them, but there's no option to completely turn them off. So if you're like me and want them to stop talking, you'll either have the voice on without text or the text on without voice, which, quite frankly, is baffling. That shit really isn't enough to make the game bad, though, not by any means. Mario Wonder is a fantastic new direction for 2D Mario. The new mechanics add so much depth to a formula that has been sorely lacking. The power-ups are genius, and I love that I can actually murder dry bones now. The game also has the classic Mario collecting feeling where everything you collect feels good. At the end of the day, it's a game that's just a joy to play, where the creativity of the people that made it shines through into something that feels fresh and new. Fuck you though, Flowey.